Hello and welcome to Thompson. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53. I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for super late models at Thompson as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 2 official series action. If you guys can, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Every like, every subscribe does a ton to help get our message out across YouTube to fellow iRacers, as well as for me and attracting sponsors. I race here locally in Wisconsin, race late models. My daughter Sydney wants to race go-karts, so every like that we can get definitely helps. Every view definitely helps, so I really, really appreciate it. We are closing in on 500 subscribers, which is insane to me to think about. We really started taking this journey seriously maybe about 3 months ago, started last season. And even then, like, you really don't know what you don't know. So it took us a while to grow. And we're finally starting to get to the numbers that I really couldn't have even have dreamed of as a small-time content creator for iRacing, primarily just the short tracks as well. So thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed. As we get closer to 500 here, we're going to start to do or think about doing some giveaways. So make sure you guys are joining our Discord because we'll probably do them through there as well. So whether it's a Team 53 short track setup pack, a Coach Dave Delta subscription, or we might look at doing some other stuff, maybe some merch or other items of note. So Thompson here. We were just here in week 11 of last season, so it almost feels like on iRacing we're racing at Thompson more than they do in real life. So we'll kind of hop in here. It's um, it's a tough track to race. It's a tough track to pass at. It's really single lane around here, but if you get a good group of guys, it's kind of a cool race. But other than that, like you really got to focus on your qualifying. So let's dial in and get that going here. We're gonna go out. We're gonna tire heat. For those of you who might be looking to upgrade your iRacing equipment, Impel Motorsports, they're on my real car. They're up here in the upper right-hand corner. Head over to impelmotorsports.com. They got a ton of Moza stuff, as well as some next level sim rigs coming soon. Real race car parts, anything from go-kart all the way up to super late models as well. So lap one's going to be a throwaway lap for us. That's why I wasn't too concerned with talking. We're going to get here into turn 3 and 4. We're going to go high and get a good run. So it's almost the normal line, just a little bit higher. We'll cut down and really mash that throttle and get some speed going. Start finish line, we're at 123. We're going to go down the front stretch. You can see I've got a plus offset in this, so my wheel is tilted to the right a little bit. And then as you see how close we are here to the wall, I mean, this is really where you got to be. There's really not a good marker to be able to tell you if you're close enough to the wall, other than I guess maybe like if you scrape the wall, you're too close type situation. So just keep inching up closer and closer until you think you're too close, and then take a look in your far chase and see really where your car is placed. I like to be kind of right sides on that crack there. Usually works out pretty well for me. So we go down the front stretch. As we get here to turn 1, the wall is going to open up on us, and this is where you're going to start to do everything that you need for turn 1. So you can see I swing out just a little bit into that crack. I'm going to lift and brake as I get here into turn 1. And then my goal is going to be kind of like Stafford, where I'm going to treat this patch here through this corner as the apron at Stafford. So we're going to come in, we're going to bring the left sides down, maybe a little bit more onto it. We're going to diamond up into the center, and then we're going to cut down and drive up off the corner. So we drive down into the corner here. You can see about half the car over that line. From inside the car, this is what it's going to look like. So you can see kind of between the cowl or the cold air box plop up and the fender ridge here in the hood, right smack dab in the middle of that. We'll let her drift up just a little bit here in the center, and I'll give it just a little bit more brake because I felt like I was pushing out towards the wall too far. And then I'll throttle up and really get just a good hammer drive off that corner. Get up tight here on the back stretch close to the wall. I'll show that to you from the cockpit. And then you see this little red blob here. This is a NASCAR decal on the wall. As we get to turn 3, that NASCAR decal is going to play everything that we need for this corner. Where's my far trace? There it is. So we get ready here. Down the backstretch, we're just banging on the chip, which you guys will hear in a second. And now we start to see that NASCAR sign. We're going to lift and brake. And then just like 1 and 2, we're going to drive down into the corner, cross over that contact seam, let her drift up a little bit, but we're going to get a really good drive down. And we're going to exit this corner almost down below the contact patch. And we'll just drive right through that, and we'll get ourselves a nice 742. Would not be surprised if you see some 6s right out of the gate. Um, there's definitely, some more time in this that we could definitely find. But let's go back. Let's listen to it from inside the car, kind of where you're at. So let's go to the cockpit. Here we go. I will be quiet for a lap. Enjoy. And there is your lap around Thompson. Pretty quick lap, pretty quick track. Everything really, really feels quick. So race trim wise, you can see here we just did some short runs. We're basing this off of last season's setup, so we kind of know where we're at with everything. We're here so recent to go, and the track is the same temperature. So not a ton of changes there. I did free the car up though, just because it's a little bit longer race. So those of you who are Team 53 subscribers, make sure that you download this week's setup. Otherwise, you're going to be way short on fuel. So the big thing here is just really keeping the car underneath you, being gentle on it. I will recommend to go into your options, go under controls, and set your brake bias. If you're running supers, late model stocks, it's a big tool that we use to keep the car feeling the same throughout the run. So make sure you guys are setting those brake biases. But really driving down into the corner here, that's really what it's going to be. Passing zone here in 1, driving down underneath someone, driving up above them, or trying to get to their outside corner when, on corner exit when they drop down, and just holding that outside line is really, really important. Now, keep in mind, if you go to somebody's outside line, don't be surprised if they drive you up the track. That's why I kind of always advocate for passing on the inside, because then you can set where you want to pass at. If you get underneath them, you can just kind of drive them up the track if you need to. You can wait on entry to 3 here and drive them in a little bit higher. Instead maybe turn it in there, maybe you come in just a little bit higher. You wait. Um, those are all things that you can do instead of giving the bumper to someone. A lot of times I'll watch races and I'll just see guys just drive right through people. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, we really need to get back to showing a little bit more respect here on iRacing and really understanding what it takes to set up a pass. And if you run second or fifth or whatever you run in a race, if that's where you run, like that's where your car was. So keep that in mind here this week. That, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that people will do to run you up the track to really try and mess you up. But it's a 75 lap race at Thompson, so there really shouldn't be a ton of tire saving. You guys should be able to go pretty much full tilt. And like I said, the brake bias adjustments. So really, when you're going to use a brake bias is probably about every 10, 15 laps, and you're either going to take brake bias out, go negative, or you're going to put brake bias in and go positive. You go negative if when you're going into the corner you feel like this nose is just driving you straight to the wall more than what you would like and you're having to crank a lot of wheel in. Take a couple clicks of brake bias, go to a smaller percentage, and that's going to free you up. Um, if you go into the corner and that back end just feels like it's going to step around and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing on entry, put some brake bias in and that's going to tighten you up a little bit. Give it a couple laps though, whether you're putting brake bias in or taking brake bias out before you do another adjustment, just to make sure that the car has time to react, right? And then 2, you're going to get to a point in your run where you've taken out a bunch and all of a sudden you take another click and the car just feels like it wants to come around, or the car just feels like it wants to plow towards a wall. And then you just back your adjustment back out, and that's where you stay for the rest of the race. So should be a pretty good week of racing. Make sure you guys are joining our Discord here. I'll put a link up here. It's also in the description below. Head over to team53racing.com, grab your season pass. It's not too late. We will be running them all season long. Probably start to discount them out here after week 6. We'll probably look at that. So best of luck. Make sure you're joining our Discord. Get in on the 500 subscriber giveaways, and we will see you guys in the next video.